It's Wednesday, February the 8th, 2023, and you know what time it is. It's Wisdom Wednesday podcast with Dr. Mary Seegers. I am so honored to have two prominent brokers in the metropolitan area to talk about real estate. Let's talk real estate. But before we do, you know the drill. Grab your coffee cup. You all can relate to that. Oh, I like that cup. All right. And join in on the conversation. Like I said, I have two prominent brokers in the metropolitan area. And if you're interested in buying or selling or leasing a home, condo, commercial property, you need to connect with these two prominent brokers. They will take care of you professionally all the way from the beginning to the closing table. So let me introduce the audience who they are, my friend and my guest. The first I want to introduce is Colette Hughes. Real estate is not just her profession, it's her passion. She has over 25 years of experience in different areas of real estate, from traditional, residential, and commercial real estate sales, short sales, bank foreclosure, tax foreclosure, auctions, you name it, she can help you with it. Helping the first time buyers, you know, you're out there searching, she could be holding your hand as you find that dream home. Helping seasoned buyers and sellers, property management to property investment. She's currently the broker and the owner of Virtual Real Estate Services, LLC, based in Sterling Heights, Michigan. She's proud to go above and beyond to serve and help her community, family, friends, fellow real estate brokers, and real estate agents with real estate services. Colette earned her brokerage license from Michigan, a Middleton real estate training. Hoo-hoo, I did too. Associate degree in business administration from Detroit College of Business and has a BA in Christian studies from Midwestern Christian Institute. Welcome, Colette. How are you this morning, my friend?
I am well this morning. Thank you so much, Dr. Mary, for this opportunity to be on here with both you and Charvez Miles. Thank you. Thank you.
That's a heck of an introduction, Dr. Mary.
Well, hold on, because I got to introduce them to you. This another prominent broker, a true friend, and an excellent professional person in what he does. Charvez is the broker and the owner of boutique brokerage of 13 agents, focusing on customer service and satisfaction. That's a plus. Specializing in making the home buying process simple, less intimidating, and less nerve-wracking, servicing Auburn Hills to Detroit and everything in between. With over 500 homes sold, experience rivals all the major competitors. You want to connect with Charvez Miles, and welcome. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well. Thank you. Thank you.
I like that boutique, so it can be specialized just for what you need. Amen.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Listen, as you all know, we've been talking about real estate for the month of February, getting ready for that spring real estate market, which will be coming out, March, end of March, April. And these two professionals can share with you the temperature of what's going on in the real estate market, because they're in the trenches every day and all day, you know, so they can know what's going on. So let's just start with Colette. What's happening in the real estate now in our metropolitan area?
In our metropolitan area, at this time, Dr. Mary, what's going on is people are getting a feel for what they possibly want to purchase. Like once that warm sun hits them, like once the spring comes, but they're looking right now. However, you know, they might be a little afraid of the interest rates that's a little higher. They may be afraid of the home prices that's still a little higher up there. The home prices they will not. And I can have Charvez vouch for this. They will not go down to the 2008, $3,000 prices at all. However, definitely what's going on right now is definitely people are getting ready to start their purchasing. They're getting ready to start selling homes, even though it's not as quickly. You know, they're doing with caution. However, real estate sales and purchasing and investing will always go on.
Yes, absolutely. What do you think about that, Charvez?
I agree. I agree. As far as what's going on now, the market is slow. This is normally the slow time for our market. So, sometimes the news tries to make things look a little bit worse than they are, but this is the normal slow period. Anywhere between, end of November, first of the year, because you got your holidays back to back to back. Then first of the year, people are recouping. So this is normally the slow time. You couple that with high interest rates. So yeah, things have slowed down a little bit, but as Colette said, things are still moving. You still have some serious buyers out there. If they're looking right now, they're definitely serious buyers. You still have some sellers that, there are situations where people need to move right now. They can't wait. So that's still going on. And yeah, like Colette said, some people are they're waiting, they're sitting back, just simmering, just waiting. They're
Yes.
getting that house together. They're doing touch-up
Yes.
painting. They're doing things that need to be done and waiting for that explosion that we all know is going to come within the next month or so. I like to tell my clients, something special happens in the summertime in Detroit when it comes to real estate. It
Oh,
may
yes.
seem like everything is cold and dark now, but come May, June, it's a whole different world out there.
That's true.
It is. You won't get us on a podcast, Dr. Mary, during that time. We'll be rushing you along during that time, like, oh, we have to go.
That's why I said, let's do it now in February so you can
Yes,
be ready for that over explosion.
absolutely.
Buying a home is the largest investment that a family can make. So it's a serious decision. How would you help a new, let's say a first time buyer who really want to purchase a home and want to, have peace and just have their shelter for their family? How would you walk them through that process? We'll start with you, Charvez, on that one.
So the first thing you want to do is we have a consultation, just a conversation that says, what are you looking for? What are your needs? Where you want to be? What is your current credit situation? What's your current financial situation? Because we got to find out, one, where are you getting the money from? Is it a cash deal? Do you need a loan? And so we need to get you connected with the lender, either one, myself or some of the lenders that we recommend that's going to basically do a credit check, employment verification, and they're going to tell you exactly how much you're approved for. Everyone wants to know, why is that important? Because it makes a difference whether you're approved for 100,000 or 400,000. That changes neighborhoods, that changes payments, that changes a whole lot of things. So it's not that we want to hurry up and get you into approval, but that's what's going to set the stage as where we're going to go first. Then once we get that approval amount, that lets us know where we can go, what type of house we can buy, what amenities we can afford. And we take all of that information, we bundle it together, and we work to find you a house that matches that criteria.
Wow. Very similar for you too, Colette. I mean,
Yeah, I ditto everything that Charvez said, but what you have to also understand about the dynamics of a buyer is they have to feel that they can live in that home. It can be the best neighborhood in the world, but they have to feel that they can go in that house, go to sleep, and wake up and feel comfortable, or leave their family in that home. No matter what's going on in their life, you have to feel comfortable where you are. So we try to make sure that when they go into a property, when we're showing the home, how do you feel in this home? How do you feel going in this particular room? How do you feel like if you're going to be having a dinner party and then you're going to have your friends and family over? How do you feel that if you're sick at home by yourself? You just have to have that whole mindset. So buying is not just, of course, it's going through making sure that you have the pre-approval, making sure that you have the money to buy the home, but you want to ride around that neighborhood and see what's going on as well. So you have to be comfortable with your decision, because once you make this major decision, you can't just say, oh, you know what, I changed my mind, I'm going to take this back to the store, hang this back on the rack, I don't want it anymore. You're making a major decision in your life. And so that's what we want to talk about, and just, definitely make sure that you're making this right decision.
true. Go ahead.
I agree. And I think that's one of the reasons why, they try to, we've seen different commercials, different companies that are trying to replace real estate agents and make it a virtual a business, but this is not something that can be done virtually. This is something, like Colette said, it's feeling involved, it's emotion involved. Sometimes you need to touch the property, you need to walk through the property. Like she said, you need to see how you feel in the property, and you need someone that's a real estate professional to assist you along the way. So that's why real estate agents are a needed service, not something that can just be replaced by looking online or just seeing pictures on various websites.
That's so true.
Yes. And another thing too, as far as like with the buyers, I don't feel that, okay, well, this is your money and I'm trying to help you make a quick decision because I need to go ahead and get this commission check. No, it's like me spending my own money. And so if I don't feel comfortable in that home, and I may not want you to live there, I know that we have different tastes, but sometimes I'm like, I don't think this home is going to work out for us, even though I'm never going to live there, never going to spend the night. But I don't want you to live in this house. Let's find something else. Sometimes I get in that mode too. So it's got to be kind of patient with some of the realtors and brokers that's taking you around to the house, because we're spending, it's like it's our own money. So we're definitely on your team. Back to you, Dr. Mary.
And, like a first time buyer, they need sometimes that hand holding,
Oh, yes.
allow their emotional intelligence step out, and you could be able to speak into their lives, because it is a major decision. They can't return it to the store, like you said. I was thinking about the interest rate. I think you mentioned that a little bit, Charvez, how the interest rate is going up, and seemed like that's going to be a current thing. I think we got spoiled with the low interest rates for so long. Never before have they been like 2%, 3%. So even with the higher interest rate, there still will be a need for people to buy homes. What would you say about the interest rate? And I'll start with you there, Colette.
Oh, as far as the interest rates go, no problem. I can't say that. I'm just joking. It is a problem for some people. Sometimes what you may have to do as far as the interest rates go is you purchase a property anyway, and then you might have to refinance, because the market is always forever changing. The market just doesn't sit forever and just be the same market, so you can possibly refinance. And so there are several different mortgage companies. There are different ways that you can get your interest rate down, even though I know that their interest rates are at a certain level, but definitely there are different programs out there, different mortgage companies that can offer you this assistance to try to, get that rate at a certain level, but then you can definitely refinance at a certain point as well.
See, I'm telling my age now. I remember when it was double digit financing, so we were spoiled for a while. What about?
Oh, yes.
So, basically, a lot of times the news over exaggerates things. If you're a brand new homeowner, you may or may not know the difference between a 4 and a 5 or 6 or 7% interest rate. But we hear on the news that it's going up and it's high, and it's almost like scaring people.
Yes.
Basically, what it's going to come down to is what you can afford, what that payment looks like, what that closing cost looks like to you. And you do have options. You have options to buy down the rate. You have options to get different rates. There are various options out there. But the bottom line is, whether the interest rates are high or not, purchasing a home is always a better option over renting a home, because you're investing in yourself. You're investing in yourself, maybe at a 6% interest rate or maybe at a 7% interest rate. But those payments you're making are going toward your equity, not just going toward the rent that you're not going to get anything from. And when you own a home, you have more options. As was mentioned, you can refinance later. I have clients who they've only been in homes 2 years and something came up and now they got to move. There's equity so that they can sell that home and make money. So it's always an option, a good option to purchase a home. Interest rates up, down, market changes, because you're investing in yourself, and that's just going to give you overall more options.
So true.
Yeah. And also what you can do is change some other things that's going on in your life. Maybe you have to pay a little bit more for that house note, but maybe you have to eat something different. You might not want to go out to dinner every single night. You might want to go once a week, or you might want to just cook a little bit more, and then cook a little bit more protein so that you're not as hungry, so there are different ways that you can take on that interest rate and just do something a little bit different in your life. Don't go shopping. You might want to go travel, you might want to travel, just stay home, a staycation instead of, going, like somewhere extravagant, and just do that maybe once a year. So there's some ways to tackle that interest rate. Back to you, Dr. Mary.
Yes, you're right. You're right about that. You change your lifestyle because now you're a homeowner, and there's a lot that you can get from being a homeowner, right?
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about what about those that like to do real estate investing? How do you handle clients that say, look, I'm not interested in, I want to flip, I want to invest, I want to turn it over. Have you worked with them, and how do you treat them any different than a client that may want to, be a homeowner? We'll start with you, Charvez.
Okay, so yes, I have we worked with them. Yeah, work with all types of clients and investors. The main thing with an investor is really trying to understand what they want to get out of it. Are they looking to flip? Are they looking to hold? Are they looking for a rental property? Because those things are going to determine areas, neighborhoods, prices, things like that. So when you have your seasoned investor, usually they know what they want, they know what they're looking for. It may be a little bit easier to assist them. But when you have your novice, your first time investors, those are the ones where we're really trying to draw out from you what exactly that you're looking for, what exactly you need, so that we can assist you in looking for the right thing. That's the hardest part of our job, is really trying to find out what you want, because people say they want this, but then they really want this. And so it may take a few times or a few conversations just to understand. But once we get an idea of what you want, then yeah, we can assist you to find. We have the tools to find whatever you need once we have a proper understanding of what you want, what you can afford, and all of those things together.
So true. What about your experience with investors?
That's definitely everything that Charvez said is true. Some investors may want to do financing, like on some of the homes that they find and the tenants are living in the properties. Okay, so you can do the conventional financing. However, the financing that you're taking on, if you're not paying cash, the home still has to be livable. It can't just have like a lot of different things that's wrong with it. And that's what I come across with new investors. They have to understand that it can't be a home that has mold, that has water in the basement, that has, it can't have those things going on. And then you expect a bank to finance that particular property. So that's one of the things that, I find like with the newer investors. So the seasoned investors, they already know what they want in a particular property, just as Charvez mentioned, definitely. So it's all a learning curve of that particular investor, that particular client.
Driving around the metropolitan area lately, I was out in the Macomb Township, and there's a lot of new construction going on. What can you say about new construction? Colette, we'll start with you.
What I will say about new construction, when you see the new construction going on, that lets everyone know that life is still happening. When you see the new construction stop, you have to stand back and pay attention, because that's what happened in that 2008 when everything fell apart, when the foreclosure market came. The construction stopped, and that's because the market crashed. And so when I see new construction, new homes being built, buyers can take on looking at new construction and look at the homes that's already been built. And so when they see that going on, definitely it's a time still, a great time to buy. Mm-hmm. When you see the new construction going on. So I love to see it. I love to see it.
Have you had that same experience, Charvez, with the new construction?
Oh yeah. New construction is definitely a sign of life, as Colette said. The only thing that I really think that's important about new construction, there are a variety of builders, there are a variety of subdivisions, and so there's not usually one set way to purchase new construction. It's going to depend on the builder. It's going to depend on that subdivision. Some builders, they have what's called spec homes, where they have 2 or 3 models you choose from. You don't make any changes. Yes. That's it. Some builders have it where you pick a lot, you pick a model, you pick cabinets, you pick everything in the home, so it just depends on which builder you go with, which subdivision you go to. And then, that's where we come in. We come in and we help you navigate through those waters. It's important that when you're dealing with new construction, you call us and take your agent with you the first time, because a lot of new construction subdivisions and communities will not allow you to have an agent if they don't come with you the first time to make that initial contact, because they don't want to pay the commission, which is understandable. But you want to have your own representation. That person that works in that office, they work for the builder. And I'm not saying that they're, not an honest person, but they work for the builder. So you want to have your own representation to help you navigate through those contracts and all of the things that go along with that purchase.
So true. That happened to me a while back. And it's like, no. I'm representing this buyer. Yeah. But you're right, though. You want to let them know that you have their best interest and that you want to make sure that they get what they want in their dream home. They're building it, right? So
Yes, absolutely. It's a step-by-step process, no matter if they're building a dream home or a home that's been around for years and years. It's all a step-by-step process.
yes. Let's talk about commercial property for a little bit. I know you both have experience with that. Sometimes that can be massive and a headache sometimes. So what about your experience with the commercial property? We'll start with you, Charvez.
Well, yeah, I have done commercial deals. I've done a lot of commercial properties here and there. The thing with commercial property is it's a lot of moving parts. There are a lot of things to know when it comes to the land, the building, the structure, city ordinances, permits, things like that. And so commercial property is something where you really want to make sure you have someone that's experienced and knows what they're doing. You have to deal with attorneys. You have to deal with a lot of different pieces to get it to make it work in the end. So it can be a little bit of a hassle. It's not the same as a residential property because there are so many moving parts. It usually takes a little bit longer and there's a lot more that goes into it. But yeah, that is something that I've worked in. It is something that I can do, and it it is something that I have experience in.
Same with you, Colette.
Yes. Our brokerage definitely have experience in dealing with commercial deals. I have even just recently, the building that where I started, the building where I started my real estate career, I sold that particular building. And then I also sold the building that's like right down the street. So I was at that location for about 20 years, but I started there like back in 1988. And so that was exciting. And so, yeah, definitely commercial is a different experience because the buyer has to do their due diligence. They have to make sure that the land that they're buying, you want to make sure that you have an architect involved, because they might have to do different drawings. And so it's so much to it, so much to the permits, and it's a lot of involvement. I have 11 realtors on my team, and definitely my rock star realtor, they're all rock stars to me. But Marcy Robinson, she sold a building that's right in Midtown, and she specializes in Midtown. And she sold a school down there for $1.8 million. And so that was, but that took a year, so it went from one buyer and then it went to another buyer. So it took a year because they did their due diligence, and it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy, but it's done. And the attorneys are involved, just as Charvez say, you might want them to rush, but no, they're not rushing.
You get paid by the hour now.
It's a rush.
Right.
Yeah, but it's great.
As you both was mentioning about, you have realtors under your brokerage. My granddaughter, when she was younger, I would take her on some of my I'm also a realtor, as you know, and I would take her and then she would say, you can see this is a very, nice place you could live, your daughters could, she was just imitating me. And now that she graduated from Eastern Michigan University, got her own little career, I said, might be interested if you want to do real estate. So I was thinking about that as a part-time. So if someone's interested in real estate, what would you recommend that they do? And how can they get involved in a brokerage? And step by step and help someone find a dream home. We'll start with you, Colette.
Okay, so if someone wants to do real estate, number one, let's have a conversation first, just to make sure that this is what you want to do, because it's not easy. If it was easy, everyone would be doing it, but it's definitely not easy. We definitely have a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of, oh my God, just a lot of transactions that don't go through. You might be depending on that money in order to pay, you might be depending on that commission in order to pay for certain things. So you have to always have something in the pipeline. So let's talk about it, because it's not just, you just don't get involved and then you all of a sudden you have all these buyers that's kind of, if you are not that charismatic, you might not be that person. So you have to, let's go to a step by step, because there are people that you have to pay. You have this, it's a pay to play. It's not a game at all, but you have to pay to play. You have to pay a board, a real estate board. You have to pay the MLS in order to get your listings. You have to pay the brokerage, because you have to be a part of a brokerage. You have to, there's a commission split. So you're not going to get all your money, that, you feel, okay, well, this is the money that I'm going to get right now. So let's talk about the whole picture before you get involved in real estate. But I love it, because my whole goal for my realtors is for them to get their broker, to get a brokerage if they want. And so that's my whole goal for them. I have 2 brokers that have gone on, and they're doing well. So when they get on board with virtual real estate services, my whole goal is in order for them to have their own brokerage one day, if they so desire.
That's powerful. What about for you, Charvez?
So run. Think you want to be in this business, but yeah, like Colette said, the funny thing, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong, but I know Colette and I met on a deal maybe 6-7 years ago, and I think it might have even been Super Bowl Sunday. We were working on a Sunday like 7-8 o'clock at night, trying to get a deal together. And like she said, this is serious business. This is not what they show you on TV. It's definitely a fun career. It can definitely be a lucrative career, but this is not something that you're going to go and sit down and take a class and jump right into it and make money. It just doesn't work like that. They make it look like it's all about cars and lunches and meals on TV, but it's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that go into these deals. Like Colette said, a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of stress. So you definitely got to understand what you're getting yourself into and know what to expect. You have to be a people person. You have to be organized. Things that you just have to be able to do if you're going to be successful. So you really want to just get an understanding what you're getting into. And then you want to shop the brokers and see if which broker fits you. Some brokers are going to require you to come in the office. Some want you to do telephones. Some expect a certain amount of production. So you want to shop the brokers and see what's a good fit for you. And then that broker is the one that's supposed to assist you with your training, with your contracts, just with your overall success. So you want to make sure that you're focused on a broker that's going to help you get to where you want to get to in this business.
Yes. Right. You, like you said, run. I love that. Go ahead, Colette. You had something else to say?
Yes. Charvez, can we talk about that deal in Livonia? It was a ice storm.
Yeah.
And I didn't know the ice storm was that bad. I traveled from, we were on the street. However, I mean, not on the freeway, but every single light was out. So I'm traveling from the east side to
Remember
Livonia.
that. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. And every light was out. I'm like, all the street lights are out. Didn't realize it until, until the buyer definitely wanted the condo. And so I contacted, that's great. I mean, that's what's so awesome about Charvez too. He's answered. It was Super Bowl Sunday, and it was an ice storm, and he answered. So that communication is what's necessary. I don't care if it's through your broker. You have to have that communication. If it's other realtors, you have to have that communication. If it's through buyers, sellers, that communication is so important. And so we talked about it. We got the deal done that particular day. And then we probably got everything signed the next day. But we got a meeting of the minds and the terms and everything on Super Bowl Sunday. And it was an ice storm. And it was no competition for my particular buyer. It was just amazing. So that's why I knew that being on this podcast today with Charvez, it was going to be a great adventure.
Now that's what I call top-notch professionalism. I mean,
Absolutely.
Super Bowl, ice store.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, it was a lot.
Wow, that is so powerful. And people want to work with people they can trust, that they
Yes.
depend on. If they have a break, I call it a what do you call it? Emotional breakdown, if you will, because that's major. That they have someone that they can look up to and hold their hands during that process. So I mean, these two prominent brokers, they're all of that and more, because they not only they don't care, they care about the person, they care about the individual, and that's major. That's major in business like this, because you get some people just looking at the paycheck, looking at the commission, but that comes when you treat people right. There's a quote that I like to say: people don't care how much you know until you show how much you care for them. And these two wonderful prominent brokers, that's what they do day in and day out. So how can people reach out to you? I mean, how can people connect with each of you to say, I'm looking for a home, I want to sell my home, I'm looking to get into real estate, whatever? How can they reach out to you? I see your information's right there, Colette. Why don't you start? We'll start with you. I know. I love
Yes. So, yes, so my information is right there, but definitely feel free to call me on my mobile, 313-510-2091. I love to just speak with you instead of, like texting and emailing. I don't mind those modes of communication, but definitely give me a call or just reach out to me on my website. You want to see what I'm about first, because people love to reach out to you if they like, know, and trust you. That's for sure. Or they might know other people that's been in communication with you. So definitely reach out to me by calling me on my mobile, 313-510-2091.
Awesome. Awesome. And she's true to her word. I mean, she's just the person when I first met her, because we had a meet in person we have a mutual friend, Josephine. And I said,
Yes.
I love her. I just love her personality. I know she's a professional person. So you want to reach out. What about for you, Charvez? How can they reach C Miles Realty?
I'm C Miles Realty on everything. It's C Miles Realty, Instagram, Facebook, cmilesrealty.com. My phone number is 313-912-6694.
I want to repeat that one more time.
Yes, ma'am. 313-912-6694. And again, that's C Miles Realty, the letter C, Miles Realty on all social platforms, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We're hard to not be able to find.
And LinkedIn too. I think you mentioned that as
I'm
well.
on LinkedIn as well. Yes.
Yes, business to business. Just shifting gears a little bit, I read a very interesting article on Mr. Miles, and it was an article that was talking about his career. So you mind sharing that with us, if you don't mind? I thought it was quite interesting.
Yes, there's a new online platform called Steals Detroit, and they wanted to do an article on how I got started. And so the story is kind of funny. I'm just waiting on one of these networks to pick it up. But when I was 9 or 10 years old, I remember telling my grandmother I wanted to be in real estate. I don't know why. I just told her, and I remember having this conversation that I wanted to purchase a strip mall. So for some strange reason, the 10-year-old kid wanted to get into real estate. And so from that point on, it was always a conversation, just trying to figure out how, where, what I can do, what I needed to do. And so when I got into about 19, 20, 21, one of my grandmother's friends, her husband passed away, and her husband owned a few properties. And so she basically came to me and allowed me to take over one of the properties because I didn't have the credit at the time. So I took over the property. It was a 2-family flat, and I started to manage it. I collected the rent. I gave her her payment to pay the mortgage. I held that property for a year or so, refinanced it into my name, and that's what started my real estate career. From that point on, I had rental property, a couple of rental property, then I bought my own property, and then, shifted gears after the recession and went into the sales side of it. So just one of those stories where I've been in real estate for as long as I can remember.
But even as a 10-year-old kid, you had a vision, you had a goal And to see that thing come to fruition, I know it must have made your heart feel good.
It does. And I'm just wondering, like, what was wrong with me? Why wasn't I playing with toys? I was thinking about but yeah, I feel really good to be at this point where I finally got to do what I really like to do, what I really enjoy. And it's just been a one milestone after another as I've been going down this journey.
Wow. So how can people read that article? Is it online? It's an online called Steel.
Yes. The website is steelsdetroit.com. They can also find that article on my Facebook page. It will be on my website shortly, but it just came out this Monday. So steelsdetroit.com, or just check out C Miles Realty on Facebook or Instagram.
Congratulations. And that won't be the end of it. I just sense it's gonna even, the dreams can come true. And you manifested that in your life. So that's congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Now, Colette, how did you get started in real estate?
Oh, I got started in real estate in 1988. That was the start of my real estate career. As I told you all when I before the podcast started, that I was just toddling around as a little baby, just being involved in real estate. But I started as an admin at a real estate company on James Cousins in Detroit. And they had their own properties, and the office manager there, she decided that, she was going to get married, but they did not replace her with anyone else. I was the office manager at that time. And then I went on to get my license. And then I was the office manager, property manager. I did auctions. I purchased maybe about 40 properties from the Wayne County auction, like in over 2 days. And that was amazing because the owner, the purchaser of those particular properties lived out of state. And so I was their eyes and I was their ears, and they trusted me in order to purchase those properties for them. The properties were even occupied. They had some tenants in those particular homes. And so it's been an amazing time in real estate. And even when the foreclosure market happened, I don't feel that the foreclosure market was, it was terrible for a lot of people, for them to lose their particular homes. But sometimes it's a time and a place for everything to happen. And during the foreclosure market, some people that wanted to live in Southfield, they were able to live in Southfield because they were able to purchase those homes for $40,000. Now those homes are worth $300,000. I have clients right now, they're looking, they don't want to, they have all this equity in their home, so they'll say, okay, well, maybe I want to purchase, maybe I want to move somewhere else, and then just take all this equity I have and put it into another home, but they haven't moved yet. And even homes that was in Oak Park that I sold, and that was during the foreclosure market. Some people wanted to live in Oak Park. So they purchased, like for maybe $25,000, and now those homes are worth over $200,000. And so I've seen a lot in the different real estate trends. I've been involved in a lot of it. And so I've learned a lot. And so that's how I got started back in 1988. And being just started off as an admin, and look at me now. I have amazing brokerage. I have an amazing team, and I work with amazing people like you, Dr. Mary, and also with you, Charvez Miles.
You have to like people, to be in real estate, right? Go ahead, Charvez.
Yes, I was gonna say, Colette, that it's funny you mentioned that, because both of my parents were able to purchase homes during that recession. And under normal circumstances, by now they may have still been under mortgages. They may have not, completely paid them off by now. But now, because of that transition, both of them, they own their homes free and clear. Like you said, they have plenty of equity. So yeah, it was definitely a sad time, but it was an opportunity for a lot of people as well.
Exactly. Yeah, because when were they going to have that opportunity at any other time to live wherever they wanted to live in Farmington Hills? They want to live in Novi. They wanted to live, they might just want to live, just have like a nice home in a prominent area in Detroit. And they weren't able to live in those certain areas. But that foreclosure market happened. And it happened to a lot of people. But look where we are right now.
Absolutely. When you talked about that 2008 and that market dropped and everything fell, but even in tragedy, there's opportunities.
Oh, yes.
saying because somebody was able to buy a home that they never thought they could for, I said real estate was on sale, if you will, at that time, you know.
Yeah, yeah. When the short sales happened, you know, the mortgages were upside down, but we were able to get relief for a lot of people so that they could sleep at night. You know, they couldn't sleep because they owed so much on their mortgage and they owed so much on their taxes and everything. But that short sale market happened and then they got relief. I have even gone out to the cemetery in order to clear a title for a lady. She was trying to move into a senior home. And then on her title was someone that was there like maybe over 60 years in the title company. You know, they didn't, you know, I mean, of course they didn't do the extra. I want to do the extra. I want to make sure that this lady moved into the senior home where she wanted to live and she didn't have that mortgage hanging over her. I went to the cemetery, got the death information, gave it to the title company, and this lady happened to move from wherever she had to move. And so those were at that time were commissions that we almost had to work for free. Isn't that right, Charvez? We had to work for free.
Man.
But they had family members that they referred to us. And so I have whole families that's referred to me for that particular reason, because I'll make sure that I will go above and beyond and go out to the cemetery and get the information that's needed in order to clear your property so that you can sleep at night. So the short sales happen for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. Right now, you know, when the pandemic happened, it happened for a reason. So everything, I mean, we can go on and on for the rest of the day if we start talking about the pandemic. But back to you, Dr. Mary. But things happen for a reason.
True. And I like how you said I was working for free, but you gotta love what you do.
Oh, yeah.
Benefits will come back to you, and it's been proven, you know.
Yes.
Value. I can share an experience. I had one client who could just barely afford a certain house, right? And every house that she was outbidded. And like this happened like 4 times. And then finally we found her a house. And of course, the seller was moving to California. And once he got out to California, he was talking to a lawyer, and he said, "Oh, you know, you owe taxes, and if you sell that house, they're going to take all your money." So he kind of waited till the closing date happened and didn't, you know, so we were going to try to pursue the lawsuit, but it wasn't worth it because of the cost of the house. And anyway, he reneged on the deal. Okay. And time ran out. And so she had to be out of her house at a certain time. And I said, "Oh, we need a ram in the bush," right? And I happened to look on MLS and I said, "It may not be everything that you want, but let's go take a look at this house." And so she went. I said, "I'm not forcing you to like this house. If you don't like it, we'll keep looking." She fell in love with the house in the right area where she wanted. And I tell you, we closed on that the end of January. And I'm telling you, she is one happy camper and I'm one happy camper. Why? Because we didn't give up, you know, failure after failure. I said, "We're going to find a house that's for you." And it's a move-in ready. She loved it. So it's just, sometimes you just have to go that extra mile, like you said, and push the envelope, you know, think out the box, and to make sure that client said, "Oh, I'm telling everybody I know about you." And I said, "Well, here's my card." But I did it because I knew she needed a home. And so she has a comfortable home. And so sometimes you just have to step out and just look for them as if it was you, you know. So I'm sure you all had some experiences like that. You know, it's like,
Oh, yeah. You know, I'm a big believer in whatever's for you is meant for you. I had a client, she placed an offer on this home, and then someone else got the offer. We know how that goes, right? Someone else got the offer on the home. But 2 months later, this particular home came back to her because that was her house. So whatever that's meant for you is meant for you. And she closed on this house on her birthday. It was so amazing. I can feel the chills right now.
I know.
Because no matter what this other transaction, whatever happened with that other transaction, this home was meant for her. So if you're a buyer out there and you're serious about buying, because buyers will buy, whatever, there is a home out there for you. She closed on the home on her birthday and she got money back at closing.
Wow.
Yes, she did. And that was so amazing to me. It was just one of those fantastic stories. Of course, we have a million fantastic stories, but that was one of them. That home came back to her because that was her house.
Okay.
So your house is out there as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. Charvez, you want to share of any?
Man, first of all, I want to go back to where Colette talked about working for free. I remember getting a commission for $187.
How
But
long did that take though? How long did it take, Charvez?
it was a short sale. The house was $10,000. It took so much work, and then, but on the flip side, that person is still living in that house today. It's probably worth $150,000.
Yeah.
But when it comes to encouraging story, oh yeah, we got a ton of them. We had, when the market was at the peak last summer or 2 summers ago, I should say, we had a client again. She was outbid on multiple houses. She had to be 10 or 15 houses she was outbid on, but she finally got one. And as we going through the process, she was so grateful. Of course, we got to the closing. She boo-hooed and cried. She was so grateful. And to this day, she loves her house. I see her on Facebook all the time. I'm in my basement. I'm in my living room. I love my house. It's been over a year. She loves her house immensely. So although, yeah, she got beat out a few times, but the one that she's in was definitely for her, and she absolutely loves it. And those are the things that make our job worth it. I never get tired of giving keys to a new homeowners, never get tired of giving checks to people who are, selling their house and moving on to the next stage of their life. That's what makes the business worth it.
Yes, it does.
I think we're just as important as the male person through rain, snow, sleet, and hail, right?
Definitely.
Yes, the value of having a professional broker will help your process so much easier. And if you need, looking for a home, if you want to sell your home, reach out to these 2 professional, prominent brokers, and they will do you good. They will walk you through everything. I promise you that. And you will be referring your family, your friends, your cousin. Why? Because when they provide service that you can appreciate, that they appreciate you as a person, not just a commission check, if you will, but they value you, who you are, and want to see you get the best, you need to reach out to them. So with that, again, tell us how we can reach out to you, and tell them how they can find you and connect with you, and let them do the work for you, because they're professionals. We'll start with Charvez this time.
Again, you can reach me at C Miles Realty on all platforms. The website is cmilesrealty.com, C Miles Realty on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, every platform. Definitely not hard to find. The phone number is 313-912-6694.
Colette.
Yes, please call me on my mobile, 313-510-2091. I am also on the social media platforms, Facebook. I have a business page on Facebook as well. I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Instagram. And I would love definitely to connect with you, but check me out first, and then definitely give me a call. And I would love to help you. I even work on holidays. It can be, even though, I have Super Bowl Sunday is coming up. Is that right, Charvez?
Yes, it's that time again.
Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna have an ice storm. I hear that I hear that winter is over. At least Fox 2 said winter is over, pretty much. So I don't know if we're gonna have an ice storm, but I will definitely on Super Bowl Sunday, if you want to see something, or any other holiday or weekends, you can call me. And in the evening after a certain hour, I might not answer, but guess what? If I get your call, I will definitely give you a call back. So I'm definitely interested in connecting and just have a consultation just to see what you want, to see if you're ready for moving to the next step of buying a home or even selling your home. Let's just talk about it. Just like right now, we're talking about real estate, and we are excited to meet you.
Awesome. Yeah, I think you should definitely do your research.
Yes.
Look up the person that you're working with, look at their reviews, look what other people have to say. There are plenty of platforms. Google has reviews, Zillow has reviews. So those reviews should be easily accessible to see what other people have to say. So you can know or get a feel of the person that you're getting ready to, go down this journey with, because it's definitely an important decision, and you want someone that's going to have your best interests at heart.
Yes, it is a journey.
journey could be a very pleasant one when you're working with professional people.
Definitely.
I want to give you the closing words if anyone's interested in anything. I know you kind of did it, but just give some encouraging words for those prospective buyers or maybe those that are thinking about putting their home on the market, relocating. So how can you share with them some comforting, encouraging words at the end? We'll start with you, Colette.
Okay, so the purchasing process and the selling process is a step-by-step process. You don't just wind up at the closing table, so you will need a professional, an expert like me and like our Dr. Mary Charvez in order to help you through this process. I mean, we'll hold your hand throughout every step of the way. And so that's what I want to say to anyone, like if you're buying or selling commercial, residential, we'll help you throughout the entire process. Even if you're a new investor, seasoned investor, we might have information that's available to you in order to, I mean, we do have information that's available to you. So we want to help you with each step of the process because you don't just get at the closing table. Even if you get to the closing table, you might be nervous at that particular time. But guess what? We're going to be right there with you in order to help you sign the paper. If we have to put our hand on your hand to make sure that you sign where you're supposed to, we'll help you with that too. Because guess what? People are nervous at the closing table. You're making the biggest decision of your life. And so definitely give us a call. We're encouraged in order to help you with the step-by-step process.
Absolutely. And your closing encouraging words, Charvez.
And so people always ask me, is it a good time to buy real estate? The market's up, the market's down, interest rates, whatever the case may be. It's always a good time to buy real estate, to invest in real estate, whether you're investing in yourself or whether it's the investment itself. It's always a good time. Real estate continues to increase. The values continue to go up. You continue to give yourself options. You're creating potential generational wealth. And who knows where that home can take you. That home can stay in your family for the next 50 years, or that home can be sold and help you to move on to the next stage in your life. So yes, always a good time to purchase real estate. Get you a licensed professional that knows what they're doing and that really cares about your best interests.
Wow. Wonderful. We can talk forever. And I just
Yes.
want to thank you, my guests. I mean, reach out to them. I'm serious. You will get the best professional care that you ever had. And we're going to continue talking real estate. Next week, I'll have some real estate agents on just to share their experience and just to show that it's always a good time for real estate. I have to borrow that one, Charvez. I love it. It is true. Have a blessed day, and I will talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Bye for
Good
now.
night.
Thank you.